Forks up, forks down, spoon sideways, who knows?
I figured it would make a more entertaining video.
You could do...
I don't mind being an entertaining video.
It's funny how behaviors change though as soon as you mention that. It's a no,
it is. It's
no
like
video.
you're not expecting it. You're trying to like freeze yourself because we were all blank.
Yeah.
Video. But you should interview me. I'm Zombie McGee. This is Adrian Peterson in a black jersey.
Tell me where he is, Joker! Tell me where he is! Tell me where they are!
That's not a question. Who are they? Tough one to answer. I think the interviewer is getting nervous. That's what I think.
What does Gandhi have on Buddha?
I don't know Gandhi too well, except that he was in India. He won the Nobel Peace Prize, and he led his people to a non-violent victory or independence.
Won the Nobel Peace Prize.
Our president won a Nobel Peace Prize, and he's leading 3 wars in the Middle East. And he says we'll pull him out in actually December, I think. So.
What are your thoughts on Occupy Wall Street?
I think it's a great thing. I think, obviously, we've been stomped on by these corporations. That they have these information systems and people and just geniuses that are like, all right, how much money can we make these motherfuckers? And, of course, we're too dumb to do it because we're focused on other things like doing our job and like just surviving. That, I don't know, man, they just take all this money away from people. It's just not right. They're crooks, man. Like, but they use their intellect and they use loopholes and like they do it in a legal way. Plus, they're in our government, too. Like, you have people going to the U.S. Treasury and then going right back to their CEO position at blank bank. It's fucked up. I'm glad people are protesting because we have to fight. We have to, like, uprise against these people. Otherwise, they're just going to keep doing it. It's going to get worse and worse and worse. We've had enough, right?
How do you feel about if corporations are going to be considered as individuals, then they should also be accountable to the law as an individual?
Well, it's bullshit, okay? Like, individual is an individual. Individuals make up a corporation, not the other way around. So it's just like...
Well, it was that way until
they overturned it, I think, last year.
And it says now corporations.
Supreme Court. Yeah, that's my answer. It's fucked up. It's like backwards now. It's like, okay, a group of people is a person. It's like, no, it's not. It's a person that makes up a group. So each one of those people in the corporations, yeah, they can vote. They can donate their own fucking money. But... from a whole group, that's bullshit, okay? It's obviously there's some shit going on under the table for that one, in my humble opinion.
What does that say? I refuse to believe that any corporation can be an individual until Texas puts one to death.
I didn't hear that one, but we shall see. Any further questions, my good chum?
I wanted to ask you something before
a big play happened.
How do you, as an individual, understand the Constitution?
Well, you know, as a U.S. citizen, I should probably be able to recite the Constitution because it's our own rights, but I can't. I just know it's our forefathers got sick of Great Britain, they got sick of the oppression, and so they wrote this big document, making sure that shit doesn't happen again. Obviously, some of those things are happening, so hence you have people protesting, and it's just, you gotta stick up for the Constitution. That's what our whole country was founded on. It's what makes it great. And for anybody to infringe on that through loopholes or whatever they may do, that's fucked up. So I hope to answer your question. I may have sidestepped that one a little bit because I don't quite know the Constitution as well as I should, as we all should.
I happen to know that you've done quite a bit more studying into history than I have myself. What do you know in the past has been a positive result due to public protesting or
yeah, it's an easy
occupations or occupying on your own personal behalf trying to protest something?
It's a huge thing. Like, if you read Nixon's, if you listen to the tapes of him, the protesters put an immense amount of pressure on Washington. And, like, the fucked up thing is that these people, like, if they're running to be president, they get behind the protesters' side. And I'm not saying that's happening now, but back in the 60s, it definitely did, 60s and 70s. And what they do is they get these people to believe in their speech, and then they go do it. And these people, like, it doesn't happen. It's a bunch of bullshit. They're just trying to get the votes. Obviously, it happens all the time. And so these people get more pissed off, and protesters get more angry, or just more people. And so, like, it just puts a lot of pressure on Washington. And that's the way it should be, because we are the people. A mass amount of people saying, don't do this. We were fucking sick of it. It does make a definite difference. To answer your question, because Nixon said it himself, if you just look back at his tapes and his documents, that protesters definitely put a lot of pressure on Washington.
Is putting pressure on Washington right now the answer or solution to our problems in this country? Or is there something different route that we have to look at doing?
Well, it's a start. I mean, I'm sure there's a lot of things we could do differently. Everybody could grab a gun and then go rush watch and then be like, all right, stop fucking do this. Is that right or wrong? I don't know. But protesting is definitely a start. It's definitely a positive thing. As long as you're fighting the good fight, and I really think these people are. They're trying to take these rich motherfuckers that have way too much money they'll, like billions of dollars. Like I could live my whole life with a couple million and like probably be able to support an entire family. And these people have billions of dollars. And I say these like the very fine people, but when they're active in our politics and they're giving money to the candidates that they want to succeed, and when these same people have kind of this trickle effect of our own media and they can shape people's minds and public opinions, that's really fucked up, man. Like,
is there any way to post this video only to the south so that we can watch them all go, oh,
they're gonna be like, what's their fucking zombie saying?
He talking too fast.
How do you understand?
What's that?
What's your take on 99%? Are you one of the 99%?
Well, yeah, obviously. I didn't show up in a fucking... I would say Mercedes-Benz, but that'd be a shitty car compared to what the 1% have. I would show up in a private jet. Still, I don't even know if that covers it, but...
There's a really interesting graph that points out the average medium income between all classes of people in America, and they can break it down by percentages. And one of the most shattering figures I've seen in quite some time is showing that after... I mean, it goes all the way from World War I to World War II, where it actually shows the 1% losing most of their money because it was really tough times for the country and there was not much opportunity going around at the time because of wars.
Okay.
After Reagan, the differences really started where the top 1% started doubling.
Yeah, it's deregulation. That's why.
The disparity between the 99% in this country and the 1% right now has never been this close. It's so far out of hand right now. It's easy for anyone to look at this easy chart and go, look, I mean, there's a reason.
Yeah, no, I have the reason. I have a reason. Not saying that's the problem. What Reagan did was he deregulated the government. We used to have this system set up to limit how much a media could say to the people. Like, they would used to have to say both sides of a story. Now, evident in Fox News, there's no debate about that. Fox News can give their opinion. They could tell blatant lies on the news, and it's pretty much legal. I'm sure if they could overstep it somehow, but of course they're smart enough to not to do that.
I heard if it's deemed entertainment, it doesn't have to be news. It doesn't have to be factual.
And I've heard like Bill O'Reilly giving out iPods and shit, like just trying to attract viewers and like to give them a biased message. But all I'm trying to say is like the media used to be set up so that you had to give both sides of every single story, that you would get fined or you get shut down if you completely just said a blatant lie or just strongly biased towards one way. Reagan comes in and takes away that. He takes away that regulation. He also did, and I don't really know for sure, but I just know like his whole philosophy on being a president was deregulating, giving these people that run these companies as much power as they could possibly have. And if you look at today, that's definitely a byproduct of what happened because, like you said, like World War II and World War I, it wasn't that way. They were very, very regulated. It was like we're getting away from the roots that we used to have when we founded this nation. And now we're like in this position where you got all these people with billions of dollars that own 40% of the country, and you just taken away what limitations they do have. I'm not saying there's no more limitations, but you can see the cause and effect of the Reagan presidency, and this is what we have.
Any closing thoughts before my battery runs out?
No, not really. I mean, just I'm glad Occupy Wall Street's happening. I'm sorry your battery's dying. I don't know how many people, if anybody, will see this but take a zombie to heart, but I don't know, man. It's shit I'm passionate about. I've known my history pretty well. I pay attention to somewhat politics, the non-bullshit stuff. So, yeah, that's it.
Courage isn't contagious, and I hope we open up channels of communication because that's kind of what we've fallen apart. Back in the day, everyone knew each other. They all talked, they all shared, they all got to know each other. And what I've noticed in this country, and I don't know if... When I was a kid growing up on my street, there were kids in the street to play kickball with. We played kick the can, and the street belonged to the kids. That same street now that I'm 30 and my own kids are on that street, there's no kids on that street. People don't talk to people.
They can be doing a lot of factors, but
it's almost as if people are divided from each other. And there has to be a simple solution to get people to communicate and to be one voice again and do something.
I'm not so sure about that, but I will say that...
5 seconds.
with 5 seconds left, that 9/11 definitely fear was pushed at the people of fear.